Welcome, everyone, to our NCAA social series. I'm Andy Katz. On this edition of our show, I'll be joined by three repeat champions from the fall in Divisions 1, 2, and 3. How'd they do it? How'd they do it back-to-back? And in one case, back-to-back-to-back. Not easy. In individual sports, team sports, we're going to hear from three student athletes, three different sports in three divisions. And joining me now, two national champions, two back-to-back national champions. Drew Bosley won yet another team Northern Arizona men's cross country championship in Division 1 and in Division 2. Mylik Mitchell from Ferris State, quarterback, another back-to-back national championship in football as they knocked off the Colorado School of the Mines in that national championship game. Drew, I want to start with you in men's cross country. Northern Arizona got the altitude. A lot of elite runners usually train in altitude, especially in the Flagstaff, northern New Mexico area. So it is fertile ground for elite running. How has that contributed to building a bit of a dynasty there at NAU?
I think it definitely has contributed in terms of our recruiting. A lot of athletes that come to run for NAU are really invested in being great runners and wanting that atmosphere and standard around them. I think a culmination of things. There are a bunch of professional athletes, the environment, and thousands of unpaved trails and roads in the Coconino National Forest. But more than anything, I think it's our culture and the way we execute in moments that matter. And Northern Arizona University is we know how to execute on the day of the national championship. So we've honed it. We've got it down.
Well, to that point, before I jump in with Mylik, I mean, NAU clearly has supported this sport and is invested in it and wants it to succeed at the highest level, in Division 1. How have you seen that, grow even during a pandemic and now coming on the other side and winning back-to-back championships?
The way I've seen it grow is just the other programs around the nation have heightened the standard, and you have two choices. You either go with that standard or stay complacent. And I think an important thing is to always be evolving and trying to get better. And this year in the national championships, there was three other teams that were incredibly good as well: Oklahoma State, Stanford, and BYU. And that was new to us. Usually we were just competing with one team. And I think having multiple teams that could have won a national championship rose our standard. And we worked really hard, and we were a team the whole way through. And I think that alone helps just move the sport forward and push those championships forward, run faster times, and just make the sport better.
Well, let's talk about football. I think it's even harder to win back-to-back in football just because of the sheer numbers of it. How'd you guys get it done at Ferris State?
There's a bunch of different things you could look at. I think one big thing is just the way guys love each other just as men, and not as a guy who can get 100 yards a game or a guy who can throw for 70 completion percentage or things like that. Guys get together after practice, guys get together after class, when they actually are friends and they love each other. And so when we get on the field, it kind of plays out that way, and it's fun. And when football's fun, you tend to win, especially when you got guys of the caliber we have. So I think that's one major thing. And also just the coaches, man. We got a great group of coaches that get us ready in the off season. Coach Steedy, who's our strength coach here, he's real big, and he does every sport here. So that's big for not only our championships we win, but for all the championships we won at Ferris. So I mean, there's a bunch of things, but those are two main things for me that I would definitely, if asked this question again, bring up again. So.
And what about the commitment to the sport at Ferris State? What have you seen and how it's grown, and even navigating through the pandemic?
I got here right before the pandemic, and I can't say that the things we had here were the best they weren't the worst. But I can say since then, which was 2020, 3 years, we've gotten a whole new weight room, brand new. It's beautiful. We gotten new faculty, which have helped us big and are big contributors to our success. And, maybe in the past that it might not have been so supportive in those positions. And now, because of their past and their athletic past and things like that, they're real big on supporting the football team and moving us forward. So hopefully in the next few years we can have some, built or some type of, something that can give us something worthwhile for winning games like these.
So look, in Division I football, they don't have what you have, which is an actual real playoff. They're going to get there, but it's still not going to even be the same. What is it like to play in a real tournament in the sport of football and win a championship that way?
Yeah, it's different. I never thought I would experience it going to Kent before coming here. The biggest thing there was a bowl game, and at Kent, when I was going there, the only bowl game Kent had ever been to was like the Refrigerator Bowl in like 1946 or something like that. And so it wasn't too much to look forward to, like postseason wise. And coming here and my first game actually watching Ferris was their game in 2019 against West Florida at home against Ferris. And so seeing that in the atmosphere there, and I'm like, it's kind of a cool thing. And I had also, been on YouTube prior to that, watched some, because I'm just a football guy. So even before I even went to a Division II school, was watching D2 championships and playoffs. I'm like, it's kind of cool, man. Like, they playing 15 games a season. That's something in itself. That's a feat in itself, And so, yeah, it's exciting. And I think a lot of guys here are really durable. They get themselves ready. And Ferris is, ready to play 15 games, 14 games a season.
So at the men's cross country level, it is obviously one of our championships that we take great pride in. How'd you feel and how have you felt that has been run, Drew?
Oh, it was this last year. I mean, it was such a cool experience. The way it was executed for our team, me and my teammate Nico, we were just running up front and pushing the pace the whole time. And there was a little breakaway, so we were right next to the gator the whole time, and so we could just, I mean, when you don't have that big mob of people around you, you can just take in the surroundings so much better. And there were so many people there. It was so loud. It was such a great atmosphere, such a smoothly run meet. The course in Oklahoma, at Oklahoma State, their course is amazing. I think the atmosphere, that was definitely the most people I've seen at a cross country race, and it was just a great atmosphere. And yeah, I had a blast. And it's easy to sprint for 6 miles when you have people screaming at you like that.
Hey, one thing that's happened obviously in the current state of college athletics, I don't care what sport, what level, student athletes are transferring. And so to win back-to-back championships, whether it's more of an individual sport, a team sport, it's hard to keep that core group together. Mylik, you first, and then Drew. How has that happened that these rosters essentially stayed close? In terms of the key players, both on the running field, if you will, and across country, and of course on the football field. We'll start with you, Mylik.
Well, in terms of Ferris, we were definitely blessed with the COVID year. Guys we had an O-line last year, the first championship year, that were all 6-year seniors, the starting O-line, 6 or 7-year seniors. And so COVID allowed us to have guys who were 26, 27 years old. I'm 27. I'll be 27 this year myself. And so, NCAA, if the NCAA allows, I'll be playing another season. And I'll be 27 years old. And so I think just the new rules and things like that allow teams to just stack players. And we got about 12 quarterbacks right now. So I'm pretty sure guys learning from me and guys that I've learned and developed from over the years of being in college and things, how the system goes. I think just great teams will stay that way as long as the players themselves trust in the process that's going along with being a great team. And a lot of times it doesn't go that way and teams can fall off. But luckily, one of the big things we preach in the off season is your mental, and it's not all about how big you can get and how strong you can get and fast you can run. So I think that's real big here at Ferris.
Hey, Drew, before you answer that, wait a minute. So you're going to be 27 and you got players that could technically be 10 years younger than you. I mean, a freshman could be 17.
Yeah, it's
only 18. What's that like? You're the old man.
It's a different dynamic, especially because I came into college at Kent. I was 19, and the starting quarterback there was about 23 or 4. And so when I got there, I'm looking at that situation like, dang, this is crazy. Like, he's so old. How am I going to get a chance to, get my shine? And then being here, I even had those conversations with the guys that I'm competing with in the room, and they're like, man, dude, you're 27. I talked to my parents. They like, man, he's 26 over there, and you're 18. And so it's cool, but they enjoy learning from me, and I learn from younger guys, man. They bring things new to the table that I, wasn't aware of sometimes or haven't seen it ever in my life and things like that. So I love it, man. It's an enjoyable process all around.
Drew, same thing.
Yeah, I agree with what you just said. I'm one of the older guys on the team, but the young guys are the teachers. The young guys help you stay naive, and they're really the teachers. I know that everyone says the old guys are the teachers, but it's really the reverse if you're in it. But to your question with COVID, I think our group stayed so we finished another three-peat this year, and the last 3 national championships has stayed pretty similar. We've had a similar roster. We had one crucial transfer from Nebraska to help us out, George Kusha. And that I think was helpful with the COVID year. For our program though, I mean, we could have had 2, Luis Grijalva signed a professional contract and left early to run for Hoka. Abdi Hamid Nur signed a professional contract with Nike and left early. And they could have run this last cross country race for us. So not having those guys, that's kind of the piece to our roster that is ever changing. And then it just, like I was saying before, raising the standard. And we had new guys, younger guys step up, and new guys step into that role where other runners such as myself, Nico, George, has been doing this for a while, but we really have had younger runners step up, and it's just it's a testament to our program and where we're going to move in the future too. When, for example, I'm done in a year or 2, young guys will take my place and fill my shoes. So, yeah.
Yeah, you may have some gray on that mustache when you're done.
I'm only 22 right now, so
well,
not as old.
In running, as we've seen, elite running, a lot of times you get better, obviously, as you get older, and certainly you can get stronger and smarter as a quarterback as you get older. Hey, back to back for Ferris State, congratulations, and back to back at NAU, 3-peat. I want to clarify that. Thanks for doing that. Drew, congratulations to both of you guys, to your teams, and thanks for joining us. And now joining me, Grace Harlan. She is a national champion goalkeeper from Middlebury in field hockey, another championship in Division III this past season. Now has moved on. We'll get to that momentarily. Let's deal with your Middlebury career and especially this national championship. First, the overall experience at the D3 level in field hockey. You guys have been a bit of a power. What was it like to go through again to make a run to a championship?
Yeah, it was definitely a slightly different experience. I would say being a senior of a team, just in general, I would say it's almost a whole different ball game. Really.
How so?
You're more in the driver's seat, I would say, thinking a lot more about logistics and things like that instead of just being with your team. But I would say the reason why we've had so much success is our coach always emphasizes going one game at a time. So that always makes the start of a new season much less intimidating.
So, as I said, you guys have been a power. 4 of the last 5 national championships in Division III field hockey have come from Middlebury. Clearly a championship culture. You were at the heart of that. How would you explain it?
It's just an amazing program that Coach C. Lorenzo has established at Middlebury. So much of it really comes from the culture of the team. I always say that we don't take ourselves seriously, but we take what we do very seriously. And it's a great balance of we do really enjoy what we do, but we also really enjoy who we do it with.
Yeah, look, I've been there, and I know it's sort of nestled, and it's, you know, a beautiful setting, but it is sort of out of the way. That so you kind of better get along, because there's not like
Yes.
a lot of other distractions, and that can work both
No.
ways. How did that actually keep you guys so focused over these years and these championship runs?
I would say it helps a lot. I mean, even just our campus is very remote, but it's very beautiful. And we have like mountains and sunset at our field every single
You're on
day.
ski mountain.
Exactly. So coach would just pause practice and have everyone look. And sometimes we do photo shoots with like a panorama, having some person run around and be in it twice. We do that constantly. So definitely just taking in our natural landscape has been a huge part of my Middlebury experience.
All right. So as I said, you know, single season records and goals against 0.57, shutouts 10. You know, you were the stopgap, obviously, in net. And then we come to the championship game, goes in overtime. And right before, I don't know if I'd say you felt a twinge, but you felt something significant in the hamstring. What happened?
Yes, they had a corner play and they took a shot and I went into a split to save it, which I don't normally do for good reason because I partially tore my hamstring, which was a crazy experience. Definitely some of the most pain I've been in, but we still managed to pull it out, which was great.
So even with a partially torn hamstring, you didn't pull yourself out, and you made a save. What were those minutes like en route to a title, knowing that you were playing through some significant pain?
Definitely the stakes felt like they suddenly got a lot higher, I would say, especially because when we do go into overtime, if no one scores there, then we go into shootouts. And I definitely didn't think I was ready to do a one-on-one situation. So I was definitely hoping that my teammates would be able to pull it out, which they did. But it was stressful, but it was also the last few minutes that I would ever have playing field hockey. So I am glad that I stayed in.
And I mean, it's a memorable moment, an incredible way to end your career. The D3 experience of the student athlete, you know, it's really in its purest sense, and especially at the championship level. What was that experience like, from the way it was run to going through it? And I know you had to navigate through COVID, which was not fun for anybody, and very difficult and challenging and stressful in so many different ways. But what was the championship experience like, from how it was run to how you guys experienced it?
It was run actually very well, I would say. Rowan University did a great job this year with it. Definitely tried to make it special. It's been so great to be part of a D3 program. It really is balanced, especially I would say being at, you know, a top level program for D3. I think that makes it even feel a bit more like it's the best of both worlds, because we are competing at such a high level and we do get to experience, you know, playoffs and championships, and the NCAA definitely gets much more involved in our season as we go later on. So it's cool to be a part of that.
So, you know, when we were at the convention, we had a lot of conversations with professionals that were once student athletes and how they apply that into their professional life. And I know you've graduated in the month of February. Now you're working with Senator Amy Klobuchar as an intern in Washington, the senator from Minnesota. And there's team aspect to working together, whether it's working on legislation or within the team group of working for a member of Congress. I mean, how can you already tell in just a short time just how your professional life potentially could be helped by your student athlete experience?
Oh, it's a very clear correlation, I would say. Definitely, as you said, teamwork and just working with others, especially being a captain on the team and working with a coach and the team. It's definitely like a different role. it's interesting to be able to work with people who are, more higher up with you. And then also your peers. So it's, very clear translation, and I know it'll serve me very well.
And, you told me before we started about, the leadership aspect of it. It's just a different experience when you're the senior. Obviously, you hope in your life as a professional that you might be in leadership situations. How do you think that aspect of being a senior leader can be applied in your professional life?
Something that my coach always says is that she never regrets a hard conversation. And that's definitely something that's stuck with me. And that I would definitely continue on as a leader, and being able to have those hard conversations with people that you work with people who you are their supporter, but that, if something comes up, it's being able to assume that leadership position and have those hard conversations.
One last thing, Grace, and I think you've done a great job of transitioning in this short amount of time. And, you were obviously clearly fortunate. You graduate and boom, you're off to the next phase of life. And we've seen this a lot with people that, especially that reach the pinnacle of their sport, regardless of level. And then suddenly got to go, okay, I worked 24/7 at this, and then boom, it's over. Now what do I do? How much has it helped you in this transition that you finish your sport, you finish school, and boom, you're off to the next thing, rather than sort of letting it sort of, just mill about and not knowing, sort of what's next?
Right. It's been really helpful, I would say. I haven't had to do quite as much processing as perhaps I should, but even also ending on an injury is a weird way to go out, but it got me right into PT and rehabbing. So I would say in general, things have really just been, continuing to roll and continuing to progress, which I feel like very lucky that's how it's happened for me.
By the way, how is the hamstring?
I'm walking. I'm not quite running yet, but at least I'm mostly pain-free.
Well, awesome. Congratulations, and best of luck in your future endeavors there down in DC. All right, that'll wrap up this edition of our NCAA Social Series. Hey, look, go to ncaa.org/social series. We've got years worth of episodes, great conversations across all divisions, so many different topics. Come check it out. You'll certainly enjoy watching the back episodes as well as this one. Thanks for watching.